Hello and welcome to What's So Cool About History. This week we're delving into the Aten Heresy of ancient Egypt. And I want to start off by saying that Egyptian names are very hard to pronounce correctly, so I will get some of them wrong. Just before we start, I'll go through a quick and incomplete overview of Egyptian theology. During the Middle and early New Kingdoms of Egypt, so from around about 2000 BCE to about 1000 BCE, the leading god was known as Amun. Originally known as the god of air, during this period of time, he was also regarded as the king of the gods. Later he had merged with Ra to become Amun-Ra, but this would happen much later after the events we're talking about here today. There was also Horus, Osiris, Isis, as well as a plethora of other gods, each with their own priests, temples and worshippers. Our story today starts with the ascension of Amenhotep IV to the throne in about 1351 BCE. So about 4,500 years ago. Amenhotep was the 10th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, which had ruled Egypt for about 200 years by the time he came to the throne. At this time, the priests of Egypt held immense power, even though the pharaoh Amenhotep was himself considered a god. A lot of their power was based in the temples of the religious city of Thebes. We're not quite certain why it happened or when the change in Amenhotep's beliefs began, but during the 5th year of his reign, Amenhotep changed his name. It was now Akhenaten. Along with a new name, he converted to a new religion. As pharaoh and the most powerful figure in his kingdom, this meant that he also changed the religion of the state. Instantly, everyone now had to start worshipping the god Aten. The word Aten in ancient Egypt means disk, globe or orb, and was used to refer to the sun. Aten, the god, is depicted as a disk representing the sun with rays coming from the disk, each holding an ankh, which is the symbol of life, meaning that Aten was a sun god delivering life to the world. This new religion and god replaced all the other gods of Egypt, thereby becoming one of the first monotheistic religions of the world. The power of the priests of Amun and the others still hadn't been broken, as the capital still resided in the seat of their power, Thebes. So within a year, a new city was founded. Akhenaten. I told you these names are difficult to pronounce, meaning horizon of the Aten. With this, Akhenaten likely consolidated his power. We don't know why this all occurred. Maybe it was political to break the stranglehold of the priests. Maybe it was because Akhenaten truly believed and worshipped the Aten, though by doing so, he was renouncing his divinity as the living Horus. Starting from about the 12th year of his reign, Akhenaten seems to have appointed a co-ruler. This may have been done as he was getting older, at least for ancient times, estimates putting him at around about 35 to 40 at this time, and his son who would succeed him was still a child. On top of this, there is evidence that there was a plague or epidemic running through Egypt. By doing this, it would have helped solidify the transition to the worship of Aten in the event of Akhenaten's death. The first co-ruler was likely Smenkhara, who was probably Akhenaten's half-brother and also son-in-law, but Smenkhara seems to have died just after a year or two. Around the 16th year, another co-ruler was appointed, Nefer-Uaten, really difficult name to pronounce. The most likely candidate of this was the famous Nefertiti, who was the wife and likely half-sister of Akhenaten. And yes, those statements are correct. The Egyptian pharaohs did practice incest in an attempt to solidify claims to the throne. A year after this, in about 1334, Akhenaten died. It seems Nefertiti continued to rule solely as pharaoh until her son could come of age to claim the throne himself. So who was this son, and what happened to the Aten Heresy, and why is this all so cool? I hate to do this to you, but you're going to have to watch the next video to find out these answers. Until then, see you later.